Please help me welcome the transportation team.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So, moving to a more specific subject on the air and sustainability, which is sustainable transportation, is going to be introduced by our colleagues Ibrahim Jaroni, Mohammed Manhani, Majid Jouad, and Omnia. She's enjoying her honeymoon at the moment, so she had to pass it today. We are going to go through some definitions at the beginning, environmental impacts of transportation, key issues and strategic directions, and then we'll move to some implementation and conclusion recommendations. So we'll start with some definitions because many think about the sustainable transportation as an environmental impact only. But we would like to touch on some of the other aspects of the sustainable transportation. So starting with the sustainability, which from sustainable development has been driven, and then sustainable transportation is part of the sustainable developments. Sustainability is not about threat analysis. Sustainability is about system analysis. Specifically, it's about how environmental, economical, and social systems interact to their mutual advantage or disadvantage at various space-based scales of operations. Sustainable development. Sustainable planning means that local short-term decisions are consistent with strategic, regional and global long-term goals. Now moving to our specific subject. Sustainable transportation system is one in which fuel consumption, vehicle emissions, safety, congestions, and social and economical access are of such level that they can be sustained into the indefinite future without causing great or irreversible harm to future generations of people throughout the world. A simpler definition, sustainable transport system is one that's accessible, safe, environmentally friendly, and affordable. Some environmental impacts of transportation in general, its impact varies on so many levels. We'll touch on some of the biospheres, aquatic, land, and human, just quickly. On the aquatic, disappearance of valuable species and proliferation of tolerant ones. On the land, reduction of the food supply and alteration of food chain. And the human, odor, noise, and so many others. But now let's move into some key issues in sustainable transportation. Access, not mobility. People move in order to gain access to things and other people. So we need to focus on access, not mobility. Car-oriented cities take the mobility as its priority, but passing the access. So people, when activities are spread out, people need to drive more or go through longer distances in order to gain the same level of accessibility. So moving people, not cars, that should be our main goal. Reclaim city spaces for walking and paddle vehicles. Walking and cycling is the healthiest mode of transport. So that's what we need to think about at the beginning. And even car drivers, at certain points, they should walk in order to reach their final destinations. They walk to their vehicles and then they walk out from their vehicles to their last destinations. And stop subsidizing private motor vehicles. You can't do that when you have a proper transport system, when people really don't need to own cars. Some strategic directions, demand management. You need to manage the people's demand to move to other places. Diversifying options. Give people the option to use more than one mode of transport, not just cars. Urban planning and transportation planning. I believe that has been covered very well by our colleagues over there. Decision-making process. You need to engage all the stakeholders private and public sectors when you decide about this. Environmental protection, waste reduction, land use, energy use, further cost and job creation. There are so many strategic directions that can be thought about when talking about sustainable transportation. Some would think that sustainable transportation is always costly or not economical, but many scholars and researchers has done that job to prove that this is wrong. So enough from the boring stuff. We'll move now to Banhan. All right.
Hello everyone. So 100,000 vehicles in Dubai. You can say like at least 1,100 vehicles are added in to work in Dubai. So in parallel with that, there will be also an increasing of the pollution, of the emission of these cars. And we can say on average people, they are using their own cars between 2 to 4 hours daily. So this is not a good investment to own a car sometimes for some people. So we saw some implementation there that may solve some of these issues that can be faced in the future. First of all, I'll talk about the gas vehicles. You know, all the gas vehicles and its technology. It's running on a compressed gas. But if you compare it with the gasoline vehicles, it's like from 6 to 1,100 less emission. So if we compare it to a very huge amount of car, it's a little bit good comparison. There are 3 types of gas vehicles actually. The dedicated, which is run on only natural gas. The biofuel gas, which run only on natural gas and gasoline. And the third one is the dual fuel, which run on gas and or diesel. So the best one is the dedicated because of its high performance and high mileage and low emission, if we can say that. If you can see here, we saw there are a lot of we saw some factories in Stockholm, in Malmö. They are actually using the emission of the waste factories, the gas emission of the waste factories to run the public transport there, as we've seen in Malmö and in Stockholm. If you see this picture actually in one of the water waste factory in Stockholm. Okay. Hydrocell vehicles. Actually, I like this technology because it's, for me, it's this is the first time I've seen this technology in Oslo, in Norway. Actually, this technology is talking about like a chemical reaction between hydrogen and oxygen to create an electricity, to run the electricity motor in the car, and we get an emission of H2O water. So we can say nothing more than environment friendly, more than water. Why hydrocell car? Why they are used? They have 5 concepts to use this car, as it is energy diversification. Because H2O can be easy to access. And it's also fun to drive as of it's smooth and quiet in the street. And we have Engineer Isa and Engineer Muhammad Al-Ali have an experience and ride on this car. It also can be used as a spare power supply, and it also have a high performance and also a zero emission. The third implementation concept that we are seeing there is the carpooling. The concept is about have more people using one vehicle in one time, so it a little bit decreasing the amount of the car that being used daily. It reduces fuel consumption and the traffic, and reduce the carbon emission, and reducing also the parking space that we are needing for the cars. We have seen some individual implementation there, like the organization like Hertz for rental cars, and here in Abu Dhabi also in ADFSC, they are starting to use the carpooling. and Sayarati and RTA in Dubai. Engineer Abdurrahim will talk about it later. We see it also in some authorities like in RTA also here, they are encourage carpooling among people. If you can see here, there are some of the the car fuel station here. We saw it in Malmo, and there are also we have same here also in Dubai. Engineer Abdurrahim will talk about it later. Now I will let the microphone to Engineer Abdurrahim to complete the presentation.
Thank you, Mohammed. I'd like to welcome everybody again. I'm going to talk about the part of the carpooling, and then I'll go to the implementation of the carpooling and sustainable transportation. As you can see from the picture here, HERS have, as a part of organization implementation, HERS have implemented this idea in Malmo. As you can see, HERS provide companies by carpools that are charged electrically, and they provide also private parking. It's like a service for companies and organizations. Abu Dhabi Pharma Service Center, which the company I work in, has already initiated a new concept by reducing the number of the car per employee. So for example, we are having 700 employees and we have now 200 cars. So each section manager or engineer can take a car and can take the engineers with him and go to the, let's say, to the station or to the site, and then they come back. During our trip, we have seen some innovations, which were very good ideas. One of the innovations we have seen is the Go boat in Stockholm. As you can see, these boats are mainly done for tourism. They take you like, you drive the boats, it goes through the city as a picnic. The boats are made of recycled plastic, where it has solar batteries charged in the rental stations. Another innovation or good idea is the bicycle transportation encouragement done by almost all of the cities. As you can see here, they are providing private parkings and also bicycle tracks. Almost every city we visit, they had the private tracks. The good idea and the concept is that they are providing, in the parking, they are providing showers, they are providing even coffee shops in the parking itself. So it might be a good idea to implement it here, as we have hot weather or hot climate. We can implement the showers, so to encourage more people to go to do cycling. Now I'm going to talk about local implementation. We are not in UAE. We are not starting from scratch. No, we already started, and it's good that we had this trip to see where they ended, so that we start and to build on what with their experience based on our experience. As you can see here, you can see that one of the cycle tracks. This is, I think, in Dubai. We have in Abu Dhabi, in Abu Dhabi Corniche, in Sharjah Corniche, in Ajman Corniche, which has already implemented. Other thing that RTA is very good in specifying lines for public transport like buses, taxis, even DOT, Department of Transport in Abu Dhabi already started it. In Abu Dhabi also you can find in ENOC stations natural gas vehicles filling stations, which are almost more than 95% of the taxis now are running by natural gas. In Dubai, electric car charging stations, it's a combination between the DIWA and ENOC, where you can find 100 charging points in Dubai, all over Dubai, spread it all over Dubai. Now I'm going to talk about a very good application which is called RTA. It's done by RTA, Sharakni. It's good that Engineer Abdullah is here. So RTA has initiated the Sharakni application. I'll shed the light on it. Basically, 541 vehicle out of 1,000 is owned by single owner, which is highest in the world. And the average occupancy per each car is 1.3, which is the lowest. Staying in this rate, we'll be having 1.5 million vehicles registered in Dubai in 2020, which is a huge amount. You can imagine how much carbon will be emitted from 1.5 million vehicles. Yes, it is a luxury, but is it environmentally friendly? This is the question. So what RTA has initiated is Sharikni. As you can see, it's the car where the car drivers are eligible to take up to 4 passengers, where the drivers are able to take up 4 passengers in their own vehicles. Passengers can apply for the application as well as the drivers. So whenever the passenger wants to go to somewhere, he just puts in the application, and any car is going to that point, he can pick them up. Also, another local implementation is Sayarati. Sayarati, basically, it's a carpool concept or idea initiated by a company. It's a part of public transport system. It's renting the car. You don't have to own a car in order to be carpooling. No, they are renting the car. It can be used for all. You can pick it from anywhere and put it anywhere. And now they are launching from 300 to 400 vehicles, and they've done a survey in RTA, this company, and it was shown that 60% of the people who were surveyed agreed and liked to have this concept. And by the way, it's real. It's not a concept. We already came from the car with this car. If anyone is interested to see the car, it's downstairs. Okay, our recommendation now to have incentives. We have to give incentives to the organizations and even to the suppliers, or let's say to the vendors. We can do incentives to have carpools, cycles, as you've seen through the presentation, and also why don't we implement private parking for carpools, for electric cars, for hydro cell cars, special lines for them, like the buses. Reduce the tolls, or even have toll-free vehicles. The green vehicles, why don't we have them like reduced or toll-free vehicles? Free parking hours. Implementation of solar boat transportation. Have we seen the Go boat? Maybe we have the marine transportation in RTA and in Sharjah. Maybe we can implement the solar transportation. Incentive by the suppliers. Maybe we can increase and diversify the supplier on hybrid and green supplied energy vehicles. So this basically was our end of the presentation, and now the floor is open for any questions.